just came back from seeing Evil Dead Rise. I was pretty excited for this movie. The trailers were really good. Um, I wouldn't say I'm a die-hard Evil Dead fan, but I do have Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness on VHS, which I got for a birthday gift from my friend. And I did grow up with the games. I didn't really grow up with the movies, but I did have Fistful of Boomstick when I was a kid, and I bought Evil Dead Regeneration with the little midget on the PS2 not that long ago. Really solid games. They're campy, fun, dark, edgy, really good humor, and it just has that perfect balance of comedy and horror. And Bruce Campbell does a really good job doing that. But here, this movie, unfortunately, did not work for me. I can see why it worked for a lot of people, but like I liked The Pope's Exorcist like 10 times more than this movie, which is kind of shocking actually, because I'm not a huge Exorcist fan. But I think a part of it is kind of my fault. I've said in my other horror movie reviews, kind of like Terrifier, once you see so much gore in a movie, you just kind of, I don't know, you get used to it after a while. It doesn't really make you be in shock and awe like it used to be when you started watching horror movies for the first time. So that's kind of how I feel about this movie. There is a couple positives. It has a really unique style to it, which I dug. I liked the vibe of the movie and how it felt. I liked the lighting, especially. There are some really dark areas with really well done lighting and cinematography. All that stuff was really cool. I liked probably the first 15-20 minutes of this movie right at the beginning more than the rest of the movie, which is really weird to say. Kind of like Infinity Pool. I really liked that idea somewhat, but it was just another horror movie to me at the end of the day. My friend that saw it with me actually gave it like a 9.5 out of 10. He loved it. I'm happy he loved it. But there's just something about it that just felt like another horror movie. I didn't see the Evil Dead that came out in 2013, and I'm gonna talk about this with my best without spoiling anything. But I never saw that movie, and by the look of the trailer, I knew this wasn't gonna be, campy fun, especially because Bruce Campbell isn't in it, which this is missing definitely. But you can tell by the trailer what tone they're going for. It's really dark. It's really gory. It's really bloody. It doesn't have that fun time vibe to it like the originals did, which is okay. Um, but I don't think these movies really should be called Evil Dead, and that's kind of where my main issue lies. Um, yes, there's a couple of references to the original, and they're pretty well done. I'm not going to spoil anything, but near the end of the movie, I mean, they're pretty well done. Um, there is just not enough here. Like, it just doesn't feel like Evil Dead. I think they should have called this something completely different. Yes, there is a book that releases this dark entity, and I mean, that's pretty much it. It doesn't really need to be an Evil Dead movie. You can call it something else. And there's nothing really else about it other than a book. And the, the fighting and the gore and the violence at the beginning, there was one moment in particular, I'm not going to say anything, that completely, I knew it was coming, and it was just gross as shit. I was like, God damn, I cannot wait for the rest of the movie to see how these kills go. And then after like the first half hour, I was just not really invested in the family. The actors are doing the best they can. I just didn't really care, really. There was so many times where there were so many stupid decisions made, and we're all used to that in horror movies, so like I can't really blame them, but these are stupid decisions that really should not be here, and they actually affect the story pretty big. Um, it's really hard to talk without spoiling. I will say one thing, but it's not going to spoil really too much. Um, there's an earthquake, and if you don't want to hear, just click off now. But there's an earthquake, and then the mother kind of tells the kids when they come back home after she loses them not to take an elevator in the apartment while there's an earthquake. And then the earthquake's still happening, and she decides, she looks at the stairs, she knows the stairs is an option, and she decides to take the elevator instead while the earthquake is going, after her kids came back and she just had this discussion with them. And then after that, after her going down the elevator, that is kind of how shit hits the fan, and it's really ridiculous just because of that. It was so dumb. It's like, why didn't she just take the stairs? Maybe this wouldn't have happened. Maybe not all these people would have died. And that's another thing I didn't like, was the deaths. There's a lot of deaths in here. There's a lot of gore. I will give the movie this. They were definitely unique. They were unique kills. They were something I hadn't really seen before. And there was a couple of goofy ones that I appreciated. Another spoiler. There's a part where she just rips out a guy's eyeball and then in her mouth, and she shoots it into someone else's mouth, and then that dude chokes and dies. In the moment, I didn't really laugh because I was kind of like burnt out, and I kind of just wanted the movie to be over with. But now that I think about it, it was actually pretty creative and funny. But there is unique kills, but it got to a point where they started reusing a lot of like stuff that would happen to the girl that is attacking them. Like, she'll get stabbed or something, and there's so many scenes of her getting like stabbed in the throat, and then she rips something out of her throat, and it just keeps happening and kind of gets stale. Even though the kills were unique, there was just something about it that I just didn't really care when these people were dying. And by that point in the movie, when the kills started to happen, the movie was like 75% over because nothing happens until the third act of the movie. So when we got there, I just kind of didn't care about all the killing, if that makes sense to you guys. If you like this movie, I'm glad you did. Don't go in the comment section and say I'm using this for clickbait. I've had that on some of my videos. Like, this is just my opinion. This is what YouTube's for. I'm not going to get defensive about it. I don't really care at the end of the day. I don't know you guys that are commenting this. I'm not going to let it bug me. But this is just my opinion. I really wanted to like the movie. And then after like a half hour, 40 minutes in, I was like, okay, I'm not really liking this, but we're only in this first act and it's almost over, so maybe the second act will be better and the third act will be better and I'll like it. But I just didn't really like it. Kind of wanted to leave. If my friends weren't there, I probably would have left. But there's nothing really else much more to say other than I'm just kind of let down. I kind of hate when I get like pretty excited for a movie. I wasn't like over the top excited, and then you kind of just can't wait to leave the movie theater, other than having a good time with your friends, which was fun. But there's only one or two kills in here that I really, really liked, and everything else was spoiled in the trailer when it comes to the kills, which really pisses me off because I think some of those kills would have been better if I didn't already see them. Like, there were certain parts that were coming up and the kill didn't happen yet. I'm like, I know what's gonna happen. I saw this part in the trailer just because like the area that they were in. There's so many times when that happened, and I mean, I've already seen it in the trailer, which I didn't try to watch, but they played it at the movie theater, so what am I supposed to do? That's basically it for the video. I appreciate you guys for watching. If you saw the movie, let me know if you liked it. If you did, I'm happy for you. I will have another review out tomorrow. It's kind of a surprise. One of my favorite movies ever made. Came out on 4K, and I'm definitely making a review of that. So, yet again, thanks for watching.